خلاص. Okay. Let's wait a second, see if there's anything, and if not, alhamdulillah. Questions come from Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. Initials MG. He says, any Jawala Scout survival tips? I'll let you guys answer that, Jawala Scout survival tips. Allahu Akbar. What you got for him, Sheikh? Allahu Akbar. Say less. Say less. Next question is coming from Stockton, California. Initials WK. Salam, Sheikh. You got to slide to Stockton again, inshallah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Hopefully we're in the West Coast. I hope next month. Inshallah, should be a trip in January. Let's see how it works out. In light of the world today, right? Allahumma musta'an. We miss you, brothers, from the West Coast too. I had a very good experience out there in Stockton. Cali was very nice, mashallah. Beautiful. HA from Hamilton, Canada. Is it permissible for a man to have dreadlocks or braids? We answered this many times before. There's nothing wrong with plaiting or twisting or tying your hair. Whatever word you use. Obviously, dreadlocks have become a bit different than what they were originally. Don't make me make the accent, a naughty dread, right? Dread. Versus the different athletes and people who have dreads, but they're not, the big, big, gigantic dreads. You know what I'm talking about? And the hat, like dreads, right? I don't want to say it because you guys get the point I'm trying to make, right? And that's a major cultural association with regards to the dread. It became so popular, so famous that they just called Jamaicans what? A dread, let alone someone who's actually religious and spiritual. Natural, vegetarian, relinquishing the ways of Babylon. Haile Selassie, dreadlock. It's a difference, right? With regards to cultural styles, like a mohawk. And other styles, having a bald head, etc. It may have started off like this, but it doesn't mean anyone who has a mohawk or a bald head is with this group or that denomination. So at the end of the day, it's permissible for a Muslim man to braid his hair as long as he isn't imitating the kuffar and that which is specific to the kuffar. And as long as there's no type of religious or spiritual association with the tying and the knotting of his head. And the same applies to shaving, trimming, fading, or any other type of hairstyle or cultural reference. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Question is coming from Boston, Massachusetts. Initials RA. Is it allowed to pray with perfumes and colognes like Dior, etc.? There's nothing wrong with that. Bidnillahi ta'ala. Make sure that the cologne is good and make sure you don't put on too much. And be careful when and where you put the cologne on, right? You may get in trouble if it's the right cologne or the wrong cologne, right? Just be mindful of that. Wallahu alam. SC from Jamaica, Queens. I have a friend who prays 4 rakat sunnah before and after dhuhr for the reward of hell being forbidden for him. However, he doesn't pray all 5 salat and rarely fast in Ramadan because he thinks 4 rakat sunnah before and after is enough to be saved from hell. How should I explain to him that he still has to do the obligatory acts? Tayyib. Well, make an example for him, inshallah. Make an example of a father. And unfortunately, there are many, many fathers like this where we come from. They pick up their kids. They take them to buy expensive shoes, expensive flashy brand name clothes, take them to the movies, buy them a bunch of candy, food. and then they drop them back home. That's it. They're not there to teach the child, discipline the child. They're not there to help out the child with homework and this. They don't teach them. They're not there as a father. But they come and they do a bunch of fancy, flashy, extra stuff, and they post on social media. I'm a good father. I spend time with my kids. I take care of my kids, etc. Would you accept that? Does that make sense? Is that acceptable? A father who's not there to do the groundwork, but he's there to do the extra, additional stuff. Of course, if he has any common sense, he's going to say no. That's not a real father. That's just, whatever reason why you're doing that. Well, you make an extra salah without making the mandatory salah. That doesn't make any sense. That's unacceptable, right? That's disrespectful. That's idiotic, right? To make these raka'at that are going to protect you from hell and not do the obligatory raka'at. So that doesn't make any sense. So I would try to appeal to that person in a language that he or she could what? Understand. And if not, that's common sense that you have to pray the 5 daily prayers. That may even take someone out the fold of Islam. May Allah protect us from that. Next question is coming from Galford, UK. Initial is AS. What are the main guidelines of the relationship between a teacher and a student regarding humor, and other than that, and also between a friend who is the teacher of his friend? A question that we've explained to many, many lectures. Obviously, having a teacher that's a friend is a double-edged sword. It can be a blessing or a curse. Sometimes having a teacher that's also your friend is good. You can bond with that person, build a relationship with them. You can accept it from them more and easier, etc. And there are other times which, if your teacher's a friend, it can be a curse, because there are rights of friendship. There's an etiquette of friendship, and a friend is not supposed to criticize his friend or be too harsh on him. So you're reading something wrong, or you're studying the wrong way, or you're studying a book that you have no business studying, but because you're my man, I can't really say anything to you without offending you because you're my friend. So the teacher needs to be a teacher, but he can't fully be a teacher because he's a friend. That's a problem. Or the teacher, you joke around with him, you disrespect him. You make a joke, which is not a haram joke, but it's unbefitting to say that to someone with that type of knowledge. So that's slippery slope. Teacher-friend dynamic is sort of a slippery slope. And we're all humans. It's only natural, for people to have personalities. It's only natural for a brother to want to give you a hug, smile. That's natural. But there's a limit to how friendly you are to be with your teacher or your student. At the end of the day, it's not impossible. It can work as long as you know when to be serious, when to joke, when not to joke, when to take it serious, when to shut up. That's a fact. Because your friend, you can keep talking, you can keep criticizing. Oh, blah, blah. Teacher, this is the khalas ya akhi. That's it. It's nothing else to say. Versus a friend in which you can go back and forth with. And there are many other aspects in which this applies. Father, son, mother, daughter, husband, wife. That's my friend. It's my wife. We're best friends. I talk to her, she talks to me about Allah, but at the same time, Allah clearly mentions in the Quran, obey, respect, not allow someone in your house that you, so it's a give and a take. But it can work if it's done what? Properly. That's my man, we good, but at the same time, right now we studying the Quran, so it's no more joking. It's no more laughing, but it's time to be serious right now. Outside of the class, it said, what? You my young boy, so go ahead. It ain't no Sheikh Mufti anymore, huh? Maybe it can work if it's what? If it's done the right way. So that's basic, yani, basic etiquette. And if you can have a teacher that's not your friend, of course, sometimes that's better. So I would advise you in Allah Alam to do a mix. A mix. Your main teacher versus your side teachers. Whoever's the friend or the stranger, what's important is you need people that you're going to learn from and which you're not friendly with. I'm here to learn, not to have fun and to get along and to be cool. I'm here to benefit and that's it. Assalamu alaikum, jazakallah khairan. We part ways. Versus we're going to hang out, we're going to eat, we're going to make jokes, blah, 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 mashallah, da, da, da. So get in where you fit in. And Allah knows best. Next question is coming from St. Louis, Minnesota with no initials. AM from Winnipeg, Manitoba. What are the situations where you need harshness, firmness, as opposed to gentleness? Like we just said, knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You got to know when to put when not to put, when to say, when to be quiet. That comes from learning and experience. Wallahu alam. AS from Guildford, UK. How can you prevent yourself from boring the people with excessive religious talk? And when it is excessive, Jazakallah khairan. The answer to the question is in the question. Don't be excessive. Speak to the people from time to time. Mix it up. Learn how to keep it short and sweet, short and brief. Okay, quality over quantity. And most importantly, know your audience. There's some people you can sit and lecture every day. They'll listen and they'll benefit. They want to hear it every single day, after every salah. Read, give us a fa'idah, tell us something. And then there are other people who only want to hear Jumu'ah, and that's okay. They only want to hear once a day. You got to know who you're talking to and who you're dealing with. And we've explained that in detail in the 40 Hadith on Seeking Knowledge, Volume 1. Wallahu alam. Question is coming from same question, and we'll move on to another question. AA from Mississauga, Ontario. How can we correlate between captives in war being the only source of slaves in Islam and Maria al-Qibtiyya being given to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with no war? Jazakallahu khairan. Tayyib. And speaking on slavery and captives and concubines is a long discussion, and unfortunately is a hairy discussion or a sticky discussion. It's a fact with regards to being politically correct and being politically incorrect, and how the world has changed and different things have been revolutionized, and Islam and the Sharia of Islam has not changed and cannot be revolutionized or reformed. So that's first and foremost. So they would never ever fit or mix. There's no such thing as politically correct Sharia. It can't be. Politically correct Sharia is kufr. This changes because So that's first and foremost. Secondly is, who said that that's the only source of captives in Islam? Where does that state that in the Quran and Sunnah? That's first and foremost. Secondly, for argument's sake, who said Maria Qibtiyya wasn't a captive of war? She was given to the Prophet ﷺ without a war, but who said that she wasn't obtained through war? So the cup needs to be emptied out just a bit. Wallahu ta'ala alam. And that's a good question. OS from Matthews, North Carolina. Assalamu alaikum. Could you please give me details on the College of Dawah at Medina University? Is it focused on Aqidah? Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, because I never studied in that college, so I can't give you but so much. But in general, the two main focal points in Kulliyat Dawah are Aqidah, Usul-ud-Din, and Sirah, and Tarbiyah, things like this. And you get all of that in other colleges as well, but that's the focus of that college. MM from Lexington, Kentucky. Assalamu alaikum. How does one know his hunger for knowledge and stay consistent on the path? Barakallahu feekum. Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Go back to the playlists that we've done on this in detail, and in general, keep company of people that are hungry, people that want to seek knowledge and learn, right? I asked from Abbots Langley, UK. What are the best ways in which one can learn maqamat? Jazakallahu khairan. Allahu alam. What you mean by the word maqamat? IT, California. Next question. H.A. Hamilton, Canada. Is it permissible to practice polygamy if the country you live in says it's illegal? Like we said before, Islam and the Sharia doesn't change and is not reformed. The rules of state are not rules of the deen. So yes. And of course, be mindful of what you do and what you don't do. Be mindful of the laws. Be mindful. Wallahu alam. TA, Cali, USA. City and state, not state and country. AA, Mississauga, Ontario. What is the definition of fitrah that every newborn is born with? Is it only Islam, or does it encompass more than that? Of course, Islam, primarily. And it can also encompass other things, but primarily the deen, the acceptance of Allah as the only deity of worship, the Lord and the Creator, and the one who deserves to be worshipped. AS from Guildford, UK. How does a woman distinguish between the colors of her blood if she's completely colorblind? Jazakallahu khairan. There are different ways in which a woman can determine what's going on with her body with regards to regular or irregular menstruation. Blood and the color of the blood isn't the only sign. There's time, days, normal versus abnormal cycle, migraines, headaches, PMS, body aches, mood swings, emotional ups and downs, etc. There are different ways. And for argument's sake, if a woman was going to use the color of the blood to determine something and she herself was colorblind, she couldn't see the specific shades, then there are different things you can use. Whether it's someone else, someone in your family that you trust, please look at this, tell me what shade this is. And I'm sure in the law alam, in the modern technology that they have, I'm sure there's something you can use that can determine shades. I'm sure there's some type of camera or light that you can use that allows, I think, wallahu alam, with regards to people who are hindered with not being able to distinguish shades. And Allah surely knows best. Wallahu ta'ala, that's a good question. It's an important question. The next question is coming from initials AM. Assalamu alaikum. Sheikh from Schenectady, New York. What happens if a sister meet a brother for marriage and she shows him her hair and he is dissatisfied with her hair? What next? Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Khairan. Make dua for the sister. Pray that she gets a good husband, and inshallah she prays that you find a good wife. It's very simple. It's permissible to show someone what you look like if you intend to get married to them. And if you don't like what you see, no harm, no foul. Keep it moving. It's literally that simple. And don't tell other people about it. That's very important. That's an amana. She had the courage to show you what she looks like outside of her hijab. You're supposed to be mature enough to keep that a secret. What happened between you and such and such? Alhamdulillah, it didn't work out. That's it. Not her hair was a different color, or she was bald, or her hair was like this, or I didn't like her hairstyle, or la. And the same applies, if that's hair, then the same applies to what? Body as well. And many brothers, they fall short in this. Man, she was like this, or she had these types of marks on her, or man, she was subhanallah, but it didn't work out, but yo, that joint was crazy. La. And many brothers, they what? They do this. And that's all wrong. All right? That's all wrong. That's all you got to say. Wallahu alam. Questions come from initials ID. Maharashtra or Maharashtra, India. What are the limits of free mixing while attending family gatherings? What if cousins don't observe proper hijab? Try your best to keep ties with your family and to stick to your deen. You have to be realistic of the widespread of secular liberal life. So many Muslims don't even practice. They don't know. Many Muslims don't even know what hijab is. They think hijab is something which is cultural and not actual religious, deen. So there's a great deal of ignorance, great deal of materialism spread in the world. So my advice is to be patient with them. Don't cut them off. Try to educate them. Try to give them nasiha. If they make fun of you or whatever, try to be patient. And you visit them, you dip and you dab. Assalamu alaikum, how you guys doing? Blah, 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 blah. Something is wrong going on. It's not okay. They want you to hug this person and sit with this person. I got to go. But I brought you guys gifts. Here's some money. Inshallah, I'll see you next time. Keep it moving. In which they can say things about you, but at least you came. You showed your face. All right? And most importantly, give them nasiha. Even if someone is disgruntled, they don't accept it, they make fun of you, give them advice. And maybe somebody will listen. Maybe the next generation will listen. Maybe someone say, he's right. That's what I would say. But don't be too harsh and too quick to pass judgment and stay away from your family. Be gentle, because there's a great deal of ignorance and a great deal of other things in the world, let alone in India and the state of Muslims there and in other parts of the world. All right? Under pressure and influence from non-Muslims, politics, money, many, many problems that can lead a person to having major shortcomings in his or her deen. That's the point, is to be patient and to be forbearant. And Allah surely knows best. Inshallah, question is coming from A.W. Assalamu alaikum. How should the shaving of the newborn's head be done? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shave the head. Whether you use clippers or a razor or anything else that removes the hair from the baby's head without harming the baby. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. We'll stop here tonight. Allah surely knows best. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.